Friends, it's Nancy. So I'm back working on the Christmas journal. Merry Christmas to you. And I'm just working on the pages that are going in the signatures. So I wanted to include one book page from each of from the original book for each of the signatures. But in my last journal, what I did was I layered on some blank papers so that instead of having text, there was actually places to do some journaling. So for example, I've done some layers of paper here that covered up the story. I left this blank because I'm hoping I can find a picture of a rose that I can stick in there. And I've just, you know, layered on some ledger paper, some coffee dyed. This is this was an envelope from a Christmas card from 1940, and actually it's open and it has a 1940 seal. So I've got that in there. I need to cover this page now. And on the back I've got some ledger or a vintage record book, has a page number. This is just some paper that I've tea dyed, and this is some green ledger paper. This one I took that little poem and I backed it onto, well, I stitched around it first and then glued one edge to this folded back page of the text, and then backed it with a plain white, not white, but ivory paper, added a little tab, and then here I layered up some more. There's washi tape, there's ledger, music paper, and this is some tea-dyed paper that I used plastic tablecloth lace on top to get that design. Inside, again, I've layered up some papers. Some I stitched around, some I left plain. Here's one of those postage stamps that we made in the Edith Holden series. And I've got some more washi tape. And on the back, I've got just a coffee dyed piece of paper with the tablecloth lace. Here I've added some little images that were cut from Edith Holden pages. And here's another one of those postage stamps. And this is another little fussy cut from Edith Holden. And one more. So I just have one more page to do, and I thought, well, let's do it together. Is this the page I wanted to use? This must be the page I wanted to use. So of course, I want to keep the Christmas tree. The only issue is, and the edge of this paper has dyed pink. And I don't know why, because the original book was green. So how it got, the edge got pink, I don't know. So I got a couple of options. The option I'm going to use, though, is I am going to just tear a scrap of paper, and I think in this case I'm going to use a piece of music paper. This is old music paper. I want something that looks really complicated. That looks really complicated. And I'm just going to put my tear ruler in there. I'll tear that out. So this says Merry Christmas to you, so I don't want to cover that up. But the other side has the picture. I don't want to cover that up. So I don't want to make too big of a piece. That looks about right. I don't want all that word and stuff. And probably just like that, it's going to be fine. So I'll fold it in half. And let's give it a little taste of ink, just a little lick. And I might just put that like that. So I'm going to cut it approximately there. Now I can glue one side down so that I can add a little stitching detail if I like, or I can glue both sides down. I'm going to glue both sides down. I don't think I need to do any stitching. Just a minute. Let me rethink this. So what I could do is put it on this side and add a couple of pieces of really thin coffee dyed paper, which I have a plethora of. And make like a little flip pad there. So this is, I want the text covered, so I want it at least 4 inches. Let's move some stuff. Now I can either cut it or I can tear it. Or, I've just had another idea. Let's cut this first. Where's my ruler? There's my ruler. Here's one. There's 2. Make sure we've got this edge squared up, more or less. I have some other little papers here. I'm going to put this one upside down. These are all coffee dyed as well. Put that in, and I'll do one more, but I wonder if I've got one that has these little holes like that, because I may have. Ha. I do have. I'm just looking to see what else I've got here. Got these little ones as well. I'm not going to use those though. Okay, I think that's sort of the way I want it. Okay, I can put these away. Hi, kidders. Are you... What? What's going on? Such a sad cat. He is such a sad cat. Okay, this one doesn't match at the top because I wanted it just to be a little bit shorter than this one here. I guess I could have used that pair of scissors that were there. And then, so this is going to go right up to the top. And so I will do a tear here, and then one a little shorter, and then finally the shortest. All right. Now, just going to put a few dots of glue here. That's okay. We're still good. Cut a little smidger back. You know, I don't know if this has been on my mind. Well, I'll just talk. You watch. I was just watching Tina on Shabby Dabby Doodah, and this was her. This is an old video. I think it must have just came on, and she was talking about how she trained as a counselor a few years ago, and how, you know, it's you know, how shocking the wait lists are for people to get counseling, and yet there's no paid jobs for counselors. And I wouldn't say myself that I do counseling per se. I wouldn't be very good at it. I'm not very good at my own life, so I don't think I would be very good at somebody else's life, that's for sure. And but you know, part of that problem is, and she was talking about how she did her training. She had to do 100 hours of counseling, which isn't just 100 hours. It's for every 50 minutes of a session with a client. You know, you've got your travel time, you've got your documentation, doing your notes, you've got your supervision, so talking to a counselor about your counseling. So 1 hour of counseling is hours when you're the counselor. Plus, you know, you also have to be reading journal articles so that you can stay on top of the most recent learning in the field. And you know, what does the research say about this sort of, I'm thinking about putting a piece of lace there. What does the research say about this kind of therapy as opposed to another kind of therapy? Yeah, I'm going to put that there. You know, it's not a job. It's a career, and you know, you have to dedicate yourself to it. But it's so hard to find good paid work where you have job stability. You're not making yourself sick by doing tons of overtime. You're not worried about, you know, losing your job with the next funding cut or the next government. It's sad. It really is. And I think we can put our finger on the cause of all this. By just looking at how, you know, other professions are treated. So now I don't know how things are in other countries, but here, if you want to be a nurse, you're going to work on the hospital floor for free for years. Just like I did. I used to go to the hospital floor at 7 in the morning and get my assignment. These are your patients, you know, and do everything from making their beds to prepping them for surgery to changing dressings to, you know, getting them up mobilized and, you know. And then in the afternoon, like from 7 to 1, we'd be on the floor, and then from 1 till 3, we'd be in class, in lecture. And I mean, this was a long process, and we didn't get paid for that. And I had to drive 45 minutes, pay for hospital parking privileges, and pay my tuition to become a nurse. And then again, when I became a social worker, I had to have, I think in the first year I had to have 450 hours, and then the second year I had to have 550 hours, something like that. That was in my undergrad. And so, I mean, I worked a full-time job. And again, driving half an hour to 45 minutes. Didn't have to pay for parking for either of those. That was good. But if I was in a male-dominated field like medicine, well, that would be crazy not to consider paying me to learn how to be a doctor. Or if I wanted to become a lawyer, well, of course lawyers get paid to do their articles, but nurses, social workers, counselors, predominantly a female pink collar job, yeah, mainly staffed by free, undervalued labor, with poor working conditions. It all comes down to gender. I'm going to sew this. This will only take me a second. Here, look at my glue. But it just makes me insane. And you know, yesterday in Canada was a day marking the 30th anniversary of the mass shooting, the massacre at Montreal's École Polytechnique, where 14 young women who were engineering students were gunned down, were separated from the men by the shooter, the murderer, and murdered because they were feminists. You know, sometimes feminism gets a dirty word. It's a dirty word for some people. People might not identify as a feminist because, you know, there's this conservative idea that, you know, feminists are feminazis. You know, we hate men and yada yada yada. And that's not it. You know, I believe that the caring role is valuable to our society, should be treated as a necessary service, and I guess what I'm trying to say although I would not equate the practice of unpaid training for predominantly female positions to violence against women, I do believe that it's a big part of ongoing misogyny in our society. And yeah, something to think about anyway. That being said, you know what? I'm not happy that I didn't center this properly. So I've got this little piece here. I can cover that up. Where's my washi tape that I like? I'm looking for my washi tape. That's my feminist rant for today. And I don't apologize for it. I do apologize that I can't find... Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't know who makes this. I think I maybe got it at Michael's, so it might be like Recollections or something. tearing the edge of this. I got a call on Friday from a woman who was a mature student at School of Social Work here, and she had seen me at an event. I did a presentation about the role of social work and how it intersects with law and legal processes. And she called me to ask if I take students, and I said I always have a student. I've never not had a student, I don't think. In fact, I have one right now. And she said, "Oh, I'd like to work with you." And I said, "Well, you can talk to your faculty of social work there, and that your field, whatever the title is." And I said, "I'm willing to take you, but it might take you longer to finish your practicum hours, because I have a student here already, and she's here until April, but you can come 2 days a week until April, and then after she's done in April, you can come full time." And that's just because physically we don't have the space, A. And B, it's a lot of work supervising students. I'm wondering if I should put that bunny there kind of peeking out. This isn't an Edith Holden, this was another. Nah. All right, so over here, we'll do the back first. I have some scraps of ledger here somewhere. Let's see if I have any that has a number on it. I like it when they have page numbers. Oh, I might not have any more with page numbers. Well, that's no good. Just having another look. Well, these aren't scraps, these are whole ones. I don't want to tear into those. Alright, we'll take this one. So, I presume I'll hear back from her sometime in the next month or so. Her School of Social Work had contacted me earlier in the year to ask me if I would take a student. I said I'm already committed to another university. So, no. No, I don't think so. But you know what? It took a lot for her to make that call on her own. And actually, I think it took a lot of what it takes to be a good social worker. Of the, you know, just ask, advocate for yourself. The answer to every unasked question is always No. So I think the fact that she called me directly was a really good sign that she's going to be quite excellent. So I've got this other paper here. Okay, we'll give this a little lick of ink. This bottom one. And the setting that I work in is not typical for social work. It's definitely not a clinical setting. I'm not asking people to unpack their feelings with me. I'm definitely helping them to set goals and identify barriers and, you know, help them to resolve issues in sort of a self-directed way. You know, I'm not telling them what to do. I'm asking them, what do you need to do? And then helping them identify the ways they can accomplish that, or in what ways their behavior is preventing them from reaching their goals. This has kind of got some lines on it, so I sort of want it to go that way. I'm going to do a little bit of stitching on this, so just, you know, talk amongst yourselves. Do you remember that from Saturday Night Live? Must be a Christmas movie on. I can hear sleigh bells, not jingle bells. TV's on in the family room. Give that a bit of a haircut. I think this even has sort of a text. Yeah, it does kind of have a texture. I think this was probably like an inside page of book. I just dug it out of my scraps. Just want to make sure all my threads are free. I don't want them to get stuck in the glue. And then this one, I think I actually want it to sort of slide up under here. So I'm going to lift up that edge for a minute. Now, in no way am I complaining about my job. I love, 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 love my job. Actually, I had clients in on Thursday, and they were trying to convince me how hard my job was. Like, oh, you have a really difficult job. And I'm thinking, my job is a walk in the park compared to your life. Because the clients that I work with are in crisis, and are facing multiple barriers in their lives. So I'm going to put something like snowflakes down here, or I'm going to have to cut the grass off this bunny. I don't like him. I don't like that bunny. He's, yep, not what I want. I do have a few more postage stamps I could use. No, too big. Get a little bit of music paper. That kind of looks not good because of the music paper that's already there. I could live with that. Lifting this up to see if I can get the edge of the lace under. I think might have something else. This might be a mistake. All right. I think this got, yeah, it got folded under a bit. not that much of a perfectionist, but in that moment in time, just going to use a little bit of this purple glue. Sort of flatten that out. And I have two small ones left. I can either use this one or I can use this black one. I'm going to go with the blue one. Okay, so we've got this side, this side, this side we're leaving. Just gonna grab a little piece of this ledger page. Oops. This doesn't really matter. So, I thought I might put this across the top here. On this page. Give this a little inky ink. This is taking longer than it should. Because I'm talking instead of working. I have not been out of the house today. I don't know what time it is. It's got to be 5 o'clock. I have not had clothes on today. Put my hair up in a ponytail, and I've just been working. Working. This is how I relax. Ugh, I just stuck my arm in some glue. I'm cutting this little tiny button off. Got some nice comments about this button trim from my flip through from last weekend, or Monday I guess it was, that I posted the last flip through. So I made a couple more pieces. I'm going to be using it because I really like it. And it's just something easy to do. I'd like to do more slow stitching in my journals. One of the things I really want to do is do a lace covered journal. I see lots of really incredible pictures on like Pinterest, but I haven't really seen a video or a tutorial or an online class or anything like that. So if you are aware of anything like that available, will you let me know? Because like I said, I'm super interested in learning how to do that. And I look at lace with an eye towards, ooh, how would this look covering a journal? Okay, we just have one more page to do. This one, I could make a pocket. So there is a biography of Edith Holden available. I think I have several copies. And inside there is Christmas cards that she painted, drew. I put this on lined paper and inked it all up and stitched it, thinking that this would be a nice tag. You know what I could do? Could add one of these once the signature's stitched in. That's gonna make for a pretty chunky signature though. That doesn't look very vintage. That's too big. Well, I'm just not seeing anything that's going to work. Well, then we'll just go with my original plan. So we'll use a little bit of this. Cut it upside down. And where's that ledger I just had? Let me just grab a piece of ledger. So I do want these numbers to show. It has the numbers 1 through 15 there. Oh, I did that wrong. I'm going to give this a quick stitch on 3 sides. I think the other 2 will be, or the other one will be covered. Imagine everybody is spending the weekend getting ready for the winter holidays, doing some shopping maybe, or maybe already at holiday parties. My brother runs like an escape room, and some of the rooms have holiday themes right now. I know for sure one is called Mrs. Claus's Cookie Kitchen. I'm going to shorten this. So he's got a couple busy weeks ahead of him because of lots of work groups doing the escape room. I don't like that at all. As a work holiday event. Escape rooms are fun. First time I went was when I was doing my master's degree at the University of Calgary. And a couple of people from my class, I guess there was 6 of us maybe, we all went. It was fun. Okay, now, do I want it this way? I want it that way. Ooh, I like that. This is an Edith Holden image. There was another controversial video I watched yesterday, and I think it was new, and it was it's Climmy's Creations, and she was saying that she had been getting some comments from viewers who suggested that her using images from books was copyright infringement, and how dare she use the example she used was Edith Holden pages, and call it your own art. And while I liked her argument, I think the argument that I would make could possibly be a little stronger. So Clemmy, if you're watching this, and I hope you are, absolutely no disrespect to you, but I want you to think about this, and hopefully it'll resonate with you and ring true. So in the specific example she was talking about, it was somebody who made quilts or blankets or something, and I thought, well, what's the difference between me or Clemmy, for example, using images cut out of a book and selling it as part of our art, and this quilter slash blanket maker using fabric that's been designed by another artist, or using a pattern that's been designed by another artist. I mean, she could very well do her own designs, but most quilts are inspired by old designs. Or the difference between this or somebody using pattern paper. It's paper. And the idea is, this is just not taking a piece of someone's art and saying, this is mine. This is using a picture of someone else's art as an enhancement. So I didn't write this music, I didn't print this music, but it's part of my art. I didn't paint this bird, but boy does it look good right there. So I completely agree with Clemmy. Using book pages or images from books, there's no way it can be considered copyright infringement. And no, I don't feel bad about it at all. I don't feel that I owe anybody anything. I bought the book, it's mine. I can use it how I like. That's why there was a price tag on it. Anyway, and here's another thought. If I bought a book, and I buy books every day, practically. But sometimes I buy like new fiction, and I might spend $30 on a book. And if I read it, and it was a great book, but I don't want to keep it, I can resell it. I can put it on Facebook Marketplace and sell it. I can go to a used bookstore and sell it. I can donate it to a church or a thrift store. They can resell it. It's yeah. I've said enough. So yeah, this image of the Christmas tree, it's not my image. It's just meant to enhance the piece of art that I'm creating. Just like any of the other papers that I've included. Okay, so that is using a page from the original book. And I believe I am ready to start making my signatures. So, thanks so much for watching. If you got through my ranting today, I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm allowed to have an opinion. I was just supposed to apologize for that. And I think as women, we're often socialized to keep our feelings tucked in. Yeah, so let's just be real, and thanks so much for watching this video. We'll talk to you again soon.